Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is going to be a walkthrough video for this homeschool educational planner. Think of it as a digital binder that allows you to record, keep track, and save all aspects of homeschool management. So I'll give you a quick overview and then we'll go through different tabs in the different areas just to highlight some of the other functionality. When you buy this, all you have to do is double click and it would open up in your default browser. So if your default browser is Chrome or Safari, it would open up in that browser that you have set in your device. This is optimized to work on a computer's browser. So it has to be a laptop or desktop, not your mobile phone or an iPad. So just to clarify that, just in case you are wondering why it is not working properly. All right, so this is an overview tab. This is where you would see snapshot information, summary information about the students, their compliance progress, lesson progress, things like that. Okay. This is also where you can generate some reports and print it out. So you can print out report cards, transcripts, and export the entire master binder. Before we go over the next tabs, I'm going to jump right into the settings. And this is because the tabs that are showing up here, these are not all the tabs that are available. Here we have 8 different tabs, but we have a lot more available. They're just toggled off. And this is done intentionally because not everyone is going to have the same needs. Not everyone's going to want to keep track of the same thing for their homeschooling purposes. The most common ones are toggled on. So if you're not going to use all of them, toggle them off just to keep it as simple as possible. So while we're here in the setting tab, let me go over how it works. Here's where you can add your information as a primary educator, add information for a secondary educator, and save the profile. So it would be as simple as just typing a name, right? And save. It's going to show up somewhere else where you need it to be displayed. And if you want, you can change the date format setting, the one that works best for you, as well as currency. Here you can change the color theme. And then if you ever want to replay the welcome guide, which is what opens up the first time you open the app, you can view it here. And that's what this looks like. You can go through each slide and it tells you what the app is about pretty much. And here is where if you want to start on a new slate, you can wipe it clean. Or if you want to just see how the app works, just keep demo data. And then you can add information here and enter. In this area is where you will start a new year. You can use this app for multiple years at a time. So here's where you start a new year. You can add start date, end date, and create the year. And if you are tracking compliance, here's where you're going to want to put that information. Here you can export report cards, transcripts, export the entire binder. So if you want to use this as a way to keep track of things, but you still want to have a PDF copy, which I do recommend anyway, you can click this and it will export all of the entries in this binder. So your PDF copy printed or just saved on your computer. All right, so this is an important place I want to highlight. This is called automatic backup. And the reason why this is built in is that this is an HTML file. The way they work is they work on your local browser on one system. So if I take this file, this HTML file, and I open it up in another browser on the same computer, or I open it up in a different computer in another browser, it opens up as a new app. All of the information that has been stored will not carry over. So let's say your computer gets lost or it gets wiped clean. If you clear your cache on your browser, everything gets cleared off. So in order to circumvent this, I added this automatic backup. When you first open this, it would prompt you to save it in Dropbox, Google Drive, or the cloud. So if you decide to open this up somewhere else, all you have to do is download the backup for where you have it saved and upload it in here. And I'll show you where to upload it. And then it restores everything. This is automatic. However, you can do it manually if you want, but the automatic is built in. So every time you make a change in this application, it gets saved automatically in your Dropbox or Google Drive, so you can back it up manually. You can change where it's saved here and you can turn this off. I advise you not to turn it off so that you always have this working in the background. All right. Now here is where you would back up and restore. Okay. So let's say that I change my device, my computer, my browser, or I clear my cache and everything is gone. You would then take this file that you have downloaded. So just find wherever you have it saved. Ideally, it's in the cloud, so you always have access to it. So what you're going to do is click Restore Backup. Navigate to where you have the file. Here's where I have it saved. It's a JSON file. All right. And then you would just click Open. And here's what's going to come up. It's going to tell you, do you want to merge it or do you want to replace everything? And you'll be able to get your information back. Here's another place you can download it manually. You can back it up here. Or if you want to download it as well, you can download the backup right here. This is going to be a manual process. And you repeat the same steps. Restore backup, upload the file here. All right. Now, let's go to the individual tabs and we'll just go through how they work. I'll leave a demo copy to this. So if you haven't purchased this, obviously this walkthrough is for the people that have purchased it. If you haven't purchased it, you have a demo copy that you can play around with just so you can see if this is something that works for you. And of course, all the links will be left in the description box below. Here's how the individual tabs work, and most of them are set up the same way. At the top area, you have a button that you can use to add new information. So because we're in the lesson plan tab, here's where you add a new lesson plan. You could also search here. The same thing applies to the rest of the tabs. You can see the attendance tracker. You have a search button. You have a place to add new information. Grades and assignments, the exact same thing. So you get the idea. So going back to lesson plan, okay, you can click here, add a new lesson plan, add information. You can select the student. By the way, if you don't have any students showing up here, all you have to do is go to your student roster. This is part of the setup area, and add a new student. After you've added your lessons, there are 3 ways to view it. You can view it by calendar, which is what we have here. You can view it in the grid form, like so, or if you like, you can view it in this table format. This also applies to the rest of the tabs. We also have filters. You can filter by one student or all students. So if we want to see just Emma, click on Emma. Now it shows only Emma's lesson plans. We can also filter by status. So we have the different statuses here. So let's say we want to see in progress for Emma. It shows it right here. You can also sort based on the different options that show up in the table format, and you can also filter by dates. All right. 2 other things that you can do is you can download the CSV file. The CSV file would export all of the information that has been added in here. And finally, you can download the PDF. And this is where I think it makes sense to download this periodically to keep track of it, especially at the end of the school year or at the end of the semester. So export this as a PDF. Just click on that button and it's going to ask you some questions. It's going to ask you the time period. Do you want to export everything? Or do you want to export past 30 days, 90 days, or based on academic year? So you can choose whichever one works for you. And you can decide to export it for one student or multiple students. And then down here, you can choose your print format. So do you want it in a table form or in a calendar? And if this is something you want to print and use manually, so you want to track or check things off, you could include a checkbox, and that will add a little checkbox so that when you print it out, you can check it off manually if you want. So I'll uncheck this for now, leave it at tabular, and we're going to click on print PDF. All right, so when I do so, it opens up the default print settings in the browser, which in this case is Google Chrome. And it has a cover page right here with the date range, the student. So for all, it says all students because we selected both students. It shows the educator's name and the date it was generated. So when we go here, we can see the lesson plans for all the students. It automatically defaults to this layout that is portrait because that's the last layout I used in my Google Chrome print setting. You can change it to landscape, and some of this you might have to manually decide if you want it landscape or portrait. Portrait may work best for some type of information. This one, I think landscape works better, so I would make sure that I save it to landscape. And you can go to more settings if you want to change the size. So let's say you're not using the US paper size, you can change it to A4 and it automatically adjusts to that paper size. All right. And then you can go ahead and save, and it would save it to wherever you want to save it in your device. So that's the reason why when I click print, I like to use print PDF instead of download, because it gives me the option to make additional adjustments to make sure it's saving it in the format that I want it to be saved. All right, so we're going to go through a few other ones, but the idea is the same. Let's go to attendance tracker. Here again, we have the search area, the attendance entry, and you can see that we have different ways to view the attendance by calendar view, grid, and by table. All right. And you can also filter the same way we can filter before. You can print out as well. If you want to quickly log in attendance for a week, click on this button and it gives you the option to add what you need to add quickly for the students. And you can make adjustments here based on the number of hours per day. Click save and it automatically adds it to the table right here. The next section is progress. And this would be where you would track grades and assessments, courses, and reading. So let's take a look at another one. Again, the same general setting. We have our filters here. We can sort, we can filter by dates. Here are the different ways we can export information, CSV, PDF. Here are the ways we can view that information. And here's where we would add a new assessment. Down here you can add attachments, but I would say though that only use this if you absolutely need to, because this is going to be storing the information on your browser storage, and there is a limit to how much information that can be stored there. So it's better off if you have all of that saved in your Google Drive or whatever cloud-based storage you are using, and then just add the link here. So that way you can access it without worrying about clogging up all the storage you have in your local browser storage. All right, and then the rest of them, simply just clicking just to show you that it's pretty much the same idea and it's pretty self-explanatory. If you're going to be using the reporting functionality, here's what that looks like. You can change the requirements. Again, it's going to open up the settings tab where you can change it right here. And then you can come here and print out the summary. Again, print it out for academic year, for student, and here's what that looks like. All right, it gives you the summary in a table format. So going through the rest of them, just showing you that they all work in the same way. It will allow you to input and save information, and then you can download it and view that information in a PDF form. Or if you want to see a summary of everything, just focusing on using the app itself, the overview gives you more information. So here you can see the attendance hours, lessons completed, average score, credits, and any expenses related to the education that you have kept track of using the expense tracker. All right. And then down here, you have the compliance information showing up because we have it activated. We have breakdown of lesson progress, grade, and expense breakdown, and average score by subjects. And if we go up here, this is for all students and for this specific year. If we want to see it for an individual student, go here, click on the student name, and now it auto adjusts. Okay, so now it's showing only information for Emma for this academic year. All right, let's take a look at some of these other reports. So we have report cards, transcripts, and exporting the master binder. So we'll go through each one so you see what they look like. The first is report cards. Click on that. Again, it's going to ask you the academic period and the student. We're going to look at Emma's information for 2026 to 2027, and we're going to do print PDF because we want to make changes if we need to. So here's what it looks like. It's a report card and it shows you basically a summary of the information here. I'm going to see what it looks like as portrait instead of landscape. And you can see that actually looks better in the portrait format. So you always want to click print PDF so you can adjust it based on the best way it should be displayed. Let's take a look at what a transcript looks like. Click on transcript. Okay, now we're going to leave it as cumulative and check off Noah because we want to see the transcript for Emma. Click print PDF and scroll down, and here is what that looks like. Now you can see 2024, 25, 26, 26, 27, total credits, GPA, and weighted GPA. Finally, export master binder. This is something that I recommend you do at the end of the school year, at the end of the academic semester, just so you have an additional backup copy, just in case something happens. Again, we do have the option of backing up automatically, but just to have an additional layer of security to make sure all your items are saved, you have the master binder export. You click on this. Now we're going to leave it for both of them so you can see what it looks like for both students included. Click print PDF, and here's what that looks like. So you can see that it is a lot of pages because this is everything in the entire binder. And then you would save it to your computer or your device. To wrap up, now here you'll find contact information, terms of service. If you want to be updated with more apps that I have made and more apps that I have available, you can find that information down here. I'll leave a demo of this planner if it's something you want to check out. And if you haven't purchased this, I'll leave a link so that you can go ahead and purchase it. And also my contact information is down below. You can contact me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.